Hi, everyone. I'm going to talk to you about the next piece of the project, pages 3 and 4. This is where you map out your trip and determine how long it's going to take. It doesn't matter where you go or what you do. For the sake of mine, I'm going to say my trip is going to take 3,000 miles and 60 hours. Note it, where you go is not a big deal, so don't spend a lot of time figuring out where you're going to go, but just figure out the miles and the hours. And now we come to the questions. We're allowed to drive up to 10 hours a day. What's the smallest number of days that you could spend driving? So I said that my trip is going to take 60 hours. Divide 60 divided by 10. That means it would take, if I drive 10 hours each day for 6 days, that's the shortest my trip could be to reach my goal. 6 days is too short, so we couldn't do that to meet this trip requirement. If your trip is 31 days and you spread the driving out, how many hours would you spend? Well, I'm going to take 31 days and I'm going to take my 60 hours. 60 divided by 31, plug it in, is about 1.9 hours per day. So if I take 31 days, I'll be driving about 2 hours a day. If I take 6 days, I'd be driving 10 hours a day, but of course, 6 days is too short. The next page is where we select our vehicle. I am going to select an Audi because it fits my 4 people that I previously said I have. I could also take a Cadillac. I could take 2 Lamborghinis. I could take a Honda or 2 motorcycles. Just note that when you have 2, if I were to take 2 motorcycles or 2 Lamborghinis, when you're counting the gas, you'd have to double it because you have to pay for both. So here you talk about what you choose and why. So I'm choosing the Audi, and just note I'm going to only drive on the highways, and that's my miles per gallon that I'll be using. So we're going to scroll down here. We need to figure out how many gallons of gas it will take for the entire trip. So my trip, I said previously, was 3,000 miles. And I've only got 1 vehicle. Anything times 1 is itself, so I'm not going to write it in there. And I'm going to divide it by the miles per gallon. My Audi is 67 miles per gallon. So this is miles per gallon. When we divide, we get 289 and 66 gallons of gas that we need. No, sorry, I skipped a step. I need 103.45 gallons. Now I'm going to calculate the cost of the gas. I'm going to take the number of gallons that I need and multiply it by the cost per gallon. And we multiply that together and we get 289 and 66 cents. This is the cost of the gas for the entire trip. It's something that that's going to be paid for upfront. It's not going to change based on the length of our trip because the cost of the gas is going to be based on how many miles we drive, and the number of miles is fixed. It's not going to change. This is similar to a y-intercept. It's fixed. It's not going to change. However, the cost to rent my Audi is $67 per day. So the rental cost is going to depend on how long my trip is. If my trip is 1 day, I only pay $67. If my trip is 10 days, I pay $670. So this is a slope. The cost of gas, my total cost of gas, which was 103.45 times 280, this is fixed. And so this is a y-intercept, which is V. So now I'm going to put it together. My cost for the vehicle and gas is y equals 67x plus 289.66. So this is my equation for the cost of the vehicle and gas for the whole trip. And depending on the length of my trip, will tell me how much I spend on vehicle and gas. Thank you for watching, and I will make a new video for the next part.